So strap in and get ready.
The leaders in AFL SuperCoach are incoming, helping you win your leagues and climb up the rankings.
You're now listening to the Insight AFL Show with your hosts, Big Horse and Skitty.
Good evening and welcome to the Inside AFL Show. I'm your host, The Horse, and with me tonight, we usually do this within our Patreon, but I want to give the members of the SuperCoach community a bit of an insight as to your work that you've been doing inside Patreon, Brody. So congratulations and, yeah, good luck for your debut YouTube episode, mate. How you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good, mate. Feeling good. I feel like I'm deadly getting called up to the ones, so I don't know if he's tall enough to make it yet.
Yeah. I was going to say, if it's any consolation, mate, you look like you're a lot taller than what Deadly puts himself out to be. So you're off to a good start.
He'll be the key fullback for Essendon, the way your injuries are going.
Oh, it's unreal, isn't it, at the moment? But ladies and gentlemen, what we've got here, and if you're listening to us on audio, we're going to go through it quite simply that Brody has built a database around all numbers from every single player in the AFL and basically done a data dump in regards to SuperCoach scoring, what works, what doesn't, who scores well with certain players in the side, who scores poorly with certain players in the side, where on the ground they play their best. We've got it all here for you. So this is the only time that we're going to show this out on YouTube. The rest of the time, every player that you want, Brody's got the numbers for you. Is that right?
Yeah, everyone that's played a game of footy this season. And
that's unreal. Love it. So without further ado, this show is going to be brought to you by Draft Stars, Australia's #1 site for daily fantasy sport. Download the Draft Stars app right now to compete against sports fans across Australia and New Zealand for huge prize pools. There's no season-long commitment and new contests to join every day. There is nothing like the thrill of Draft Stars. To sign up to Australia's leaders in DFS, use the link in the description below. Remember, this is not fantasy. This is Draft Stars. So, mate, without further ado, we're going to get on to the hot topic. The hot topic is Caleb Daniel. So last week, I put out a couple of things on social media saying that we had the numbers to suggest that Caleb Daniel is, I guess, a worse SuperCoach player for us with Sheasel in the back six, as evidenced by his 88, 88, 87, and now 51. You've got the numbers here that show exactly how much worse he is with Sheasel in that back line.
I do, mate. I do. So, yeah, Caleb Daniel is heavily being impacted by Sheasel. Like, massive.
Yep.
Sheasel's gone back to that full-blown seagull role.
Yep. So we see here that with Sheasel in the side, he only averages 80 SuperCoach points, but without, and that when I say with Sheasel in the side, I mean from a point of him being in the back six, not with him being further up the ground. So when he's further up the ground, Caleb Daniel averages 104. Ground ball gets, he averages 116 without Sheasel in the back six, but 81 without Sheasel in the back six. That's unreal, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Ground ball gets are a massive thing for him, getting to the contest and actually getting the ball when it hits the deck. That's a massive thing for him. Not getting them is just destroying his score.
For sure. And then a big one there as well, intercepts up to round 6, 5.6 average intercept disposals per game, with Sheasel in the back six, only 2.75. So your conclusion by the numbers is that he's definitely a trade-out target.
Yep, getting going. He's out of my team this week. He's packed his bags. He can get out of stupid sexy Flanders.
100%, mate, 100%. And give us an idea as to how much money he could potentially lose here.
I think 50, 75K could be on the numbers here. Like, he's got that 51 that's going to hang out for another few weeks.
Yep.
The way he's going, an 80 average puts him at 400K and put a drop score in there. Sub 400.
Yeah, we saw against Essendon that I guess his score was boosted due to the closeness of the game. But then they had another close game on the weekend and he still didn't get that scaling at the end either. So is this a sign of things to come?
I think it is. Yeah, I think he's done. I think he's probably even at risk of being dropped. If Sheasel stays back there, I could see him getting dropped. He played poorly. There's nothing more to it. He had 18 touches on the weekend. For his role, it's just not what he should be doing.
If you put into the fact that he's got the 51 in his scoring now, he's not going to make you any more money now. He's going to be, I guess, with that 51 rolling in, he's got to buy in 2 rounds as well. So if you're hoping to get more money out of him before you trade him, I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either. I think, sell high at the moment. He's 445K or somewhere around there. Is he 440? I think, take your money and run while you can. Use him as a stepping stone that he has become.
Yep, I agree with you, mate. Next player we're going to talk about is Sam De Koning. The key stats here are that he averaged 77 in rounds 1 through to 3 and 82 since. His rucking has been of minimal impact, though. So the teaser that we got at the back end of last year hasn't really correlated into the start of this year for Geelong, has it?
No. He's the rucking we all thought was going to be the key to him, getting the good scores, the floors of 80 that we were hoping, but it doesn't actually have an impact on his numbers.
No. In fact, the biggest thing that has the impact on his numbers is tackling.
Yeah, that's one thing that caught me off guard going through his numbers. He's got 11 tackles for the whole year. And in both his ceiling games of 109 and 117, he had 4 in each. He's only got 3 for the rest of the year.
Really?
Yeah, it's something that sort of stood out to me as key to him getting the scores is getting tackles. So coming into the winter months down at GMHBA in Melbourne, the ball hitting the deck, him getting some tackles, it could definitely play to his hand there. Yep.
So basically 4 tackles a game and 20 touches a game, and you can guarantee him 100 SuperCoach points.
I back him in.
There you go. The numbers don't lie, do they?
No, the numbers don't lie. On the right-hand side there's a bit of a table. If you can get 20 touches, and what we got for tackles there, he's got 2 tackles in there on averages. You lock him in.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you're just joining the stream, these numbers are here purposely for our members of the Patreon who have requested these specific players being spoken about. If you are within our Patreon, you get access to every single player that plays in the AFL. Brody's got access to everybody. So we're just going through the hot topics tonight, and this is the only show that we're going to do live to everyone this year. The rest is going to be within the Patreon. Matt Roberts is our next one. Very interesting player, given that him and Riley Bice have, I guess, been taking points off each other, but having 5+ intercepts per game, he averages 107.
Yeah, he's averaging really well when he can get his hands on those intercept balls, sit off the packs a bit, which is quite good. So I don't think, looking at the numbers, that Bice is actually the impactor here.
So who's the impactor?
I think it's the fact they don't have the tools down there. You can't sit back off the packs. You can't roam the halfback like we've seen late back into last year. He's actually having to play a bit more man-on-man defense and be held accountable.
Okay. So scoring involvements, he averages 108 when he gets 5+ score involvements per game.
Yep.
With the way that he uses the ball, it's a no-brainer to try and get the ball in his hands forward of centre, isn't it? It's just a matter of getting it there.
Pretty much, yeah. Either activating the switch and moving it across the field to him to open him up, or Bice on the other side of the field. But he's massive when he's the one moving it from D50 to forward 50. Or even being the one going inside 50.
So not really worried, about disposals here. As we can see, he's got a season average of 25, and he's even scored a 95 off 19 touches. But it's the intercepts and the scoring involvements and even the tackles to a degree that help his scoring. So for Matty Roberts, we want to see him playing, I guess, more inside D50 rather than out on the wings that he has been seen at times. So if we see him back in that D50, that can pretty much, well, according to the numbers, guarantee that he's going to score quite well in that specific game.
Exactly. There's also a note there, shots on goal are actually weighing him down. If he's had a shot on goal, he's gone 72, 77. He did have a 119. And when he kicked a goal this year, he only scored a 77. So him actually pressing up the field isn't actually as positive as we might think.
So again, that would lead me to believe that when he's in D50, that's where he's at his best.
Exactly. Rolling back, let him seagull a bit and do his best Ryan Marriage impression.
Oh, we love him, don't we?
We love him so much.
What a man. I'm not going to pronounce this. I'm just going to go CJ. Do you want to have a crack?
No, I really don't know. I don't
Chunk off, Jeff.
Yeah, CJ.
That'll do. So his last 2 weeks has been exceptional.
It has.
For those that have known CJ as a footballer or as a Hawthorn footballer in the past, he's shown flashes, but has never really been consistent. So for me, if you're looking to go down the CJ path, don't hold high hopes for consistent 100 scores. But in his last 2 weeks, he's averaged over 500 metres a game.
Massive. He's moving that ball for them, and that's outrageous compared to what he's done for the year. He's averaged 185 for all the other weeks, and he's gone 500 plus. It's outrageous.
Yep. So is this going to change when they've got Battle, Barras, and Sicily down back when they get the big 3 back?
Well, Battle's still playing. Battle played on the weekend. Yeah, Sicily back there as well.
Barras didn't play though, did he?
No, Barras didn't play, but I feel Barras is more of that lockdown role, which I think will keep him open a bit. I think they're just willing to move the ball a bit more across the field, and whichever one of them's open, Battle seems to be coming through the midfield a bit, through the center of the ground, and then you've got CJ and Sicily on either wing, and proving to be pretty good kicks.
Okay. So Marks, he's got 7 and 9 in his past 2 games, whereas he only had 2, 2, 4, and 3 in his previous games in his inside 50s. They are trusting him with his kicking a little more. He has been known to be a bit of a butcher, though.
He has, but he seems to have got it pretty well going inside. So, like his season average so far is 80%. You know, last year was 76. He might be known as a butcher, but he doesn't seem to actually be butchering it.
No. So, have you got the numbers there as to his break even right now?
I can. I think off the top of my head, it's about minus 19.
Yeah. So he is going to make some great coin. What's that, sorry?
Minus 38.
Wow.
Yeah, so if he can hit his 91 projected, he goes up 57K.
Okay. So we've got to be looking at him as a stepping stone. He's not going to be a keeper. He's not going to be a top 6 defender, even though he's had a couple of really, really good weeks. What would you do?
I think if you're willing to take if you look at cash gen that we've got anywhere else on the field at the moment, we're going to have to get inventive. I can see that if you're someone who's kept an eye on him and you see how he's playing, I haven't watched him as a player genuinely enough to trust it, but I can see him doing it. If he can do a couple of weeks of just back-to-back hundreds, you know, he's going to make you the 100 grand that you'd expect out of a rookie. Boxall doesn't look much better at the moment.
No.
Guys, so 100 grand anywhere is 100 grand somewhere.
So as we can see, as per the numbers, for him to average 100, he would need to average 21.5 touches per game at 78% disposal efficiency and almost 350 metres gained. We can go right into all the numbers there, but in hindsight, or not in hindsight, just as a bit of a scope as to how this is looking, if he can get his 22 touches a game and get 350 metres gained, then it's happy days. But I see he's put a really good comment in here. Scrimshaw back this week. With Scrimshaw coming back, is that going to dampen the role? So you've got Scrimshaw, you've got Amon, you've got Massimo, and then you've got the likes of Sicily, Battle, Barras. I think it's going to hurt him.
He was sub the weeks before he did this as well. So that's something you've got to factor in. His job security isn't perfect. Yeah. His role security isn't perfect.
Yeah.
It's definitely a flyer if you want to take it, and he could give you some nice scores too. Make you some cash, give you some nice scores, but it's a risk that I'm not willing to take. No.
Your man, John Noble, as being the number one and only Gold Coast fan in the AFL. What makes this guy tick? Because he's actually been quite good this year.
Yeah, he's been wonderful. I was actually most optimistic about Dan Rioli coming. I thought Dan was going to be the one to break open that halfback, but it seems that John's done that. He's the main distributor. I think they're using more of. He seems to be the one that orchestrates everything further back. More of that, not a Luke Ryan role, but he tends to sit back a bit further. And you've got Dan Rioli sort of pushing further forward, getting the inside 50s, breaking lines, whereas John's, looking at the game a lot more and setting a lot of things up. Got all the kick outs.
Yeah. He's got kickouts, and he's also a bit of a pod, isn't he? Only 2.3% of players or coaches own him, and he's averaged 106 since round 4. Does this now mean that he's locked into his role and he's comfortable what he's doing? And are we going to get the huge spike scores? Probably not, but are we going to get consistent hundreds out of him? It appears that way.
Can't see why not. Gold Coast have proven over the years they like to use that rebound. We still use Joel Jeffrey. We used Flanders last year. We used Sexton last year. We like to use our halfbacks for a lot of this. So he's got the kick-ins. He battled at the start of the year with Rioli for who's going to be the man off halfback, and it seems that they've sort of settled into how they're going to work together. And the first 3 rounds are a bit up and down, but they've stabilised now in their scoring for both of them.
For sure. Disco, Daniel Turner. So he's been a bit of a talking point within the Patreon this week, and some people might laugh at that, but he's going to get DPP. So he's going to be a defender forward DPP if his role sticks come round 12, and he's got a massive negative break even as well at the moment.
Yeah, he's not a guy I put on my list. Thanks to Kizza for making that one for me. But having a look into him, it's hard to separate when he's been the defender and when he's been the forward. But he does seem to be using the ball more. That's a big thing. Look at 24. He had 8 touches. Average this year is closer to 11. And if you consider part of the year he was a forward, probably getting those 8 touches. But the other part of the year he's probably closer to 15 to 20 touches. Yep. He uses the ball really, really well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does. He surprises me.
He went 100% DE last game.
Yep. And have a look at this. This is a really exciting thing to look at when we look into the numbers. He only needs 231 meters gain, which is as low as anyone that I've seen that's going to average 95, but he only has to average a tick under 15 touches with the way that he uses the ball.
He does. Yeah, he's actually quite effective. A lot of those will be slightly skewed. It's got some averages in there of, a goal and a half a game.
Yep.
So, it's relying a little bit on that. But even if you bump those numbers up a little bit to compensate, say he gets, 18 touches to counteract not having the goal, that's still well achievable. He seems to have taken over Jake Lever's role, which I think is what we all look out for. Why does he fit back there?
Yep. Stepping Stone, definitely not a keeper.
No.
Jack Sinclair, this is one that people are wanting to talk about. So score involvements seem pretty big for him. When he gets over 6.5 score involvements, he averages 153. But when it's under, he only averages a tick over 100.
It is, yeah. Either way, I'll take either. But I prefer the 153 over the 101. But yeah, he's a guy that loves getting that ball, started moving forward.
Yep. So as a primary halfback, he relies on touches at a high disposal efficiency to get his score generally. But putting that, so his touches and then his score involvement, if he's playing off halfback, getting those chip kicks, and then say if your high half forwards are taking your marks around centre half forward and handballing to him and your Rozee, Wanganeen, Maleras, and they're hitting targets inside forward 50, then this is gold for Jack Sinclair, isn't it?
Massive. He's if he can settle back into that role, and I think they're not going to want him in that CBA rotation. Philippu's now come back. You've now got, still got the Corona kicking around, Jack McRae, Jack Steele, Nasser's getting some as well. You don't need Sinclair in there anymore. You need him doing what he does best.
Yep.
That's running the halfback.
And how's this goal assist stat that you've got down the bottom? 131.5 when getting a goal assist per game versus 95 when he gets none.
Yeah, he doesn't need much. That's a defining factor.
That's unreal. It's such a big spike that, that's 35 points that we're talking about there. But, for him to average 115, he needs to average 26 touches at 77% disposal efficiency and have approximately 455 meters gained. But you put all of that into him getting a goal assist and 6 score involvements, and then all of a sudden that 115 turns into a 140.
Yeah.
150.
Massive.
Yeah, it's massive. Have you got Jack Sinclair?
I'm buying him this week.
I think I am too.
He's been in the plans for the last few weeks, and I've been making sure I had the money for him. So, Jack Sinclair this week.
for sure. James Peatling.
Yeah.
So since Matt Crouch went out of the side, his numbers have been off the charts.
Did you just say his name?
Whose name?
Yeah, that one.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Whoops. Go. What intercepts in the games where he's had intercept possessions, he averages 99.5, and when he has more than one, when he has no intercepts in a game, he averages 99. This is without he who will not be mentioned anymore. And when he has more than one intercept possession per game, 121.5. So the fact that he's in there now, he's getting 20 touches per game. He's getting bulk CBAs now.
Yeah. But
his meters gained seem to be the golden figure here.
It is, yeah. He's not running forward of the ball. He's running with the ball, and he's the one that's helping move it forward. So he's got about 300 more meters gained than Matt Crouch all year. So that's a positive. But he seems to be the one actually moving the ball forward and being the one to keep it going. So that's
I'd actually challenge you, mate, that Adelaide are a better side without he who will not be mentioned and having James Peatling. I said it all preseason. I thought that this was the way that they would go, and they didn't. But Peatling adds something to the Crows, whereas he who will not be mentioned anymore doesn't.
Yeah.
In fact, he doesn't have a for wrong way. He actually looks to get aggressive with the ball when he's inside.
Yeah, exactly. His kick to handball's better. He's much better contested. I like the way he plays. I believe he opens a lot of it up for Adelaide. He doesn't bring the ball in. You're not expecting the handball like you do out of Crouch. If Crouch gets the ball, you expect a handball, not a kick. So they can play. Oppositions can play accordingly.
Here's someone that I want to talk about. So Jake Riccardi, and he had a absolutely shocking start to the year. Had a few weeks off. And the last couple of weeks, did you do some digging after I brought him up?
Mate, I can't believe you actually made me search this guy up.
Come on.
It's outrageous. I didn't think he'd ever be a name I'd be talking about. I'd asked Jared, and Jared didn't know. But he could. I don't like that it's true, but he's doing the right things. So
he's now the GWS backup ruckman. So when Matt Flynn's not Matt Flynn, he's at West Coast now. Sorry, when Briggs is not rucking for GWS, it's Riccardi. He's quite a big lad. And he's getting a bit of the ball as well. He had 17 touches last week, 82, 84 SuperCoach points. But the week before that, he did the same thing and got 103, I think it was, SuperCoach points.
Yeah, he had 16 touches.
He had a week off in between there, yeah.
Yeah, he had 103 off 16 touches. I don't want to be mood there, mate. He did have 3 goals that game. But he still had 103 off 16 touches. Yep. And he had 16 hit-outs in that game. It works. He's
a less athletic Luke Jackson with the role that he's playing.
Yeah, for sure. He's playing a wonderful role. I think this week's probably the one that we can use best as the reference. He only had 1 goal this week. And if you have a look at the bottom line there, doesn't matter whether he has goals or not. When he's kicked 1 goal, he's gone 85, 34, 77.
Yep.
Which was in round 9, 5, and 4.
Yep. So I'm not really worried about the start of the year. He came in pretty underdone. And it's only really been the last couple of weeks where he's had this backup role. And I actually think GWS look a lot more dangerous with him as the backup ruck because he can also rove his own work as well. And he's a definite upgrade on Lockie Keefe.
Yeah. I think as well, having him being a bit more mobile as well and him rotating into the forward line a bit more. A lot of defenses may be caught out when they're curious as to if he's rucking or if he's not. Whose man is he? If he's permanent down forward, your man all game. If you're moving him in and out, can catch a defense off guard. I think you can get goals are still on the board there.
100%. Before we get into the other players that we've got here is how you get access to every player in the AFL when we're talking SuperCoach.
Want to take your SuperCoach game to the next level? Inside Fantasy Sports are bringing you exclusive content all year round, such as weekly expert Q&As, team, trade, and captaincy advice, statistical deep dives, priority podcast questions, and tons more. So what are you waiting for? Get full access to the experts. Go to patreon.com/Insight Fantasy Sports and subscribe to Insight Unlimited today.
Spot on. Let's go to the next play, mate. Oh, this fucking hurts. I'm an supporter. I traded him out Anzac Day because it was wet, and I thought he's too big, he's going to be clumsy, yada yada yada. And now here I am going, do I have to trade him back in because he's now playing Jordan Ridley's role, and he just looks so good doing it.
I don't want to be the guy that says I told you so, but I do remember a message in the Patreon of me going, keep Zack Reed. He likes getting contested ball.
Yep, and I've just muted him, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm sick of hearing him tell me that I should have kept him. So that's all right. You're off mute now, mate.
What do we do?
It hurts. It hurts. So I was looking at the bigger picture and not so much out reading the room, but I thought Pryor just had a 90 the week before that as well. His cash gem was looking better. I went with Pryor. And my God, what sort of mistake that was. But anyway, for Reed, he's now in Ridley's role. So anything over 12 touches has netted Reed an 88 or higher so far this year.
Yeah, it's outrageous, mate. He touches the ball, he kills it. There's no if, buts, ends, or maybes.
Yep.
Much.
His intercept marking's awesome. He gets himself into good positions. He uses the ball well. So his disposal efficiency on average, what is it, about 80?
DE on average for this guy is 79.
Yep. So, and he gets contested possessions too. So when we're talking about someone who, he hasn't had a lot of luck previously with his body and whatnot, and fingers crossed because I don't want to jinx it, but it looks like he's starting to get some confidence in his body now. And he's sort of showing why he was such a high pick. What was it, 4 years ago now? Yeah. 3-4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, he's he's sat in my team for a year and a half so far. He rode my bench all last year, and he can hang out in the field this year. So, yeah, yep. I think probably the key thing, I think we all look at his intercept marks, but it's actually his intercepts that are the big thing for him. So if he gets so it's not just intercept marking, it's just being the one to intercept the ball coming in. 5+ gets an 88+. In his other poor games, it's been 2s and 3s. Okay. So him being that guy is massive.
And now that he's in that Ridley role, he's got 8, 7, and 9 in his past 3 games.
Yep.
Where do I sign up?
You sign up by trading Caleb Daniel out for him.
There you go. And making coin.
Yeah, make money and go to Zack Reed.
Yep. I guess the key to that would be that you would have to, in your mind, I guess, have it to say that you're treating Caleb Daniel as a rookie and that you're basically sideways trading a rookie.
Yeah. I think if you're pretty confident in Ridley's body, hasn't proven to be the greatest body over the years.
Well, Ridley's not back for 8 weeks, so.
Yeah, he's not back for 8. He's not coming back till the back end of the year. And I think if Reed can hold his scoring through there, like the numbers suggest, if you've got the luxury trades at the end of the year, you move him on. If not, you hold him.
Connor Rozee, mate. Key numbers. As a halfback, he averages 114. As a mid, he averages under 100. Scores better with less pressure acts, believe it or not. Averages 130 when he has 12 or less pressure acts per game. And when he kicks a goal, he always gets over 100.
Yeah.
There you go.
I thought the halfback average was actually going to be bigger. And Rozee owner who traded him out the week before he went to halfback. It hurts, but it's not actually as bad as I thought. I was expecting that to be a 120, 125 and probably a 95 mid average, but it's not as big of a difference, but it still hurts.
105 average for Rozee. We expect him to get 27 touches and 5 meters gained. I think he can easily do that. Yep.
I don't see a reason why not. That's to go 105, and I'd be pretty confident he could do a 110.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. He's right in the conversation for top 6 defenders.
Yeah. I think if you didn't start him, you'd be willing to get him back in. If you had him, traded him out, it's always a harder one to bite the bullet, but
it is.
I think it's someone you can consider.
Maxwell Johnny Holmes. So he popped back into form last week, didn't he?
He did. As an owner for the year, it's been lovely.
Pretty happy with it?
It's been a ride. I'll give him that, but it's we've got there. So I like him as the swing.
Yeah. Contested possessions, 9+ contested possessions in a game. He averages 122. Tackles, when he has over 4 tackles, he averages 124. And when he gets less than 4 tackles, it's amazing how big a gradient the numbers are when we're talking. It's one number, but it's almost a drop off of 35, 36 points when he doesn't meet that 4 tackle threshold.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think something we can't, take away enough is we've just come out of the nice weather of footy. Footy in your Aprils into your May is always lovely. You're often got nice temperatures out there. We're about to get into the wet season, to the overcast, to the dewy stuff. The ball's going to hit the ground. There's going to be a lot of stoppage footy coming up. Tackles, contested possessions, it's there.
100%. Meters gain, he loves to get the ball a long way away, 127, 147, and 134 when he gets over 600 meters gain. So if Geelong can get the ball in his hands and allow him to run and carry and kick long, then that's when he's at his best. And another fun fact there, for him to average 105 for the rest of the year, he only needs 23 touches at 65% disposal efficiency.
Yeah, it doesn't actually have to be much better than worse. When you look at that compared to last year's numbers, it's pretty well on par. He did better last year. He's definitely in that conversation for a top 6 defender.
For sure. Jordan Clark's the next one, mate. So he hurt me 2 weeks ago, and he was awesome last week. Live and die by the mark, though, doesn't he? He's been a staple for him, or it's been a staple for him for scoring well with a season average of 5.2 marks per game. But, yeah, the week he scored 58, he only got, 2 marks? And last week he got 10 marks?
Yeah.
There you go.
He loves
inside 50s as well. He's run and carry. He is a penetrating kick. 5 inside 50s last weekend, and only being held to 1 on 2 occasions this year, round 8 and round 1, where he averages 82. So you want him with the ball in his hands, 1, intercept marking, and 2, trying to run and create and deliver in the inside forward 50.
Exactly, yeah. Switching the ball, getting it in his hands, running either through the middle of the ground or down the wings, being that is an elite kick inside 50 too. I don't have the numbers on that off the top of my head, but inside 50 is wonderful to deliver the ball.
Yep. Again, all these numbers are available within our Patreon. The link is in the description below. Our last slide, mate, we're going to go through this. If you had to pick one this week, I'm going to read them out to you, and then I'll pick one as well. So you got Connor Rozee, 535K, break even of 105. He's got a buy in 2 weeks. Jordan Clark, 519K, break even of 103. He can have ceiling scores. Pretty safe floor normally without that 57, but he's a defender only. Connor Rozee will get DPP. Max Holmes, DPP, 498K, break even of 67. Does have DPP, defender mid, is susceptible to a tag, but he is the cheapest option of the 3. If you had to pick one, where are you going and why?
I'd go Holmes. And he's the cheapest option, and I think we all have major cash gen issues this year. And I think the saving of 40K from him to Rosie will be there and something you'd need. And trying to avoid that round 12 bye. He's got round 13 bye. You don't think him and St Kilda. Even if you've got him and Sinclair in the back line, you've only got 2 guys rather than stack up on that last bye. What are you, mate?
It's going to hurt me because I'd trade him out, but I'd grab Connor Rozee. I think I wouldn't grab him right now though. I would wait until after the bye. He's got 2 games left until his bye, and then you can grab him at round 13. Has a week's rest. He comes back fresh. Do I think he's going to explode for 150 types of scores the next couple of weeks? I don't think so. He could get to 550, so be it. But with that DPP, I'm happy to swallow my pride and go, look, I got this one wrong. I'll bring him back in. Pickles was another one. He was going through a shit time, and he's just such a hard watch when it comes to Supercoach. But Connor Rozee, he looks like another player off halfback, doesn't he?
He does. I traded him out as well, and it would be a hard trade back in. But I think all three of these guys are good options. I don't think there's one that you'd say no to. I would, if Clark didn't have a massive stealing score last week, he was on my watch list. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would have loved him sub 500, but I don't think I'm going to get him there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us for this evening. If you, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if you'd like any of these numbers on any player, the link is in the description below. Jump in our Patreon. It is all there for a cup of coffee per month, $5.95 per month. All your questions will be answered right there. Flanders, thanks for joining us, mate, and thank you for putting this together.
No problem, mate. Pleasure to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. This is the end of this episode, but in 50 minutes' time, I've got Hurls coming on with his side. It was a bit of a week last week with a lot of primos underperforming and a lot of captaincy choices, I guess, not going quite right. Hurls is going to go through what we're looking at doing this week with his side and a whole lot more. So from 8 p.m., we'll see you then. Peace.